You're listening to Tehachapi.
It's Tehachapi time. Key Budge. This is the Chamber of Commerce edition. Clare Scotti, welcome.
Thank you. It's always fun to be here.
And this is our December episode. We're closing out 2023. And just as we kind of talked before we started recording, that things usually slow down in December, but that's not happening.
That is not the case.
So what do we have happening as far as the Chamber of Commerce is concerned here in as we close out the year?
Yes. So we have so many exciting things happening. We've kind of revved things up at the Chamber with our Shop Tehachapi program. It's a digital gift card program that allows anyone to purchase gift cards for their loved ones, neighbors, teachers, co-workers, employees, anyone who they want to treat this holiday season. And it's super easy to purchase these online, and you can either email it to them or you can print them out and have them be a nice little stocking stuffer. But they go to many different businesses all across the greater Tehachapi area. And what's so great about these is that they work just like a credit card. And you can go into these different businesses and the money you spend stays in that local business. So we have Gallery and Gifts. We have Skylark North at the Mountain Valley Airport. They've just joined on. We have several wonderful little businesses that are still online. They don't have a brick and mortar yet, but this is an opportunity for them to kind of get out there and show everybody what their products are as they go on that journey to becoming a brick and mortar. We're just so excited because every day we get a new business that's interested and they pile on, and we've had people purchasing gift cards, and they're so excited because they know that when they give this gift card to their loved one, that loved one can go to these different locations and they can spend that wherever they want.
About how many businesses do we have on board right now that these can be used at?
We have 20 businesses, and there's no limit. So we could have 300 businesses someday who are a part of this. And I know the city of Tehachapi is on there, and we've already had someone come in and use their gift card to pay their water bill, which is very creative.
Yeah, it's one of those things. We've got some merchandise out in the front lobby, but also people have to pay their water bill. And so they received one of these gift cards and they utilized it that way, and we were, able to the transaction went down very quickly, very easily. As you said, it's a digital credit card, so they entered the numbers and it processed immediately. So it was very smooth.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. And I've heard nothing but good feedback so far. So I'm very excited. And so if there's anyone listening who's a business and you want to be a part of this, just email chamber@tehachapi.com. We can step you through the whole process. It's very simple, and you can get signed up within seconds, literally.
Okay, perfect.
So, yes.
Well, let's shift into, as we kick off December. So the first weekend, traditionally, there are a lot of things that go on. So we're going to kick off the day like with Breakfast with Santa that the Rotary Club does, and that transitions into just a series of special events. The depot has photos with Santa. They've got their bake sale that's going on. The Hitching Post is going to have free movies. The city, we are putting together the Tehachapi Hometown Christmas, but the Chamber also has the parade. Let's chat about the parade before we roll back to the Hometown Christmas.
Yes, thank you. The parade, and this is my first year doing the parade, and it has been so fun. And we have over 50 entries and different businesses, organizations, teams, sports teams, dance troupes. Everybody wants to be a part of it this year, and they are all bringing their cheer, and I'm so excited. Like some of the sketches of floats coming in are fantastic. And we have a lot of equestrian teams, so there'll be a lot of horses. And Santa will even be joining us, and he will be riding in a little pony-drawn cart. So super cute and fun, and everybody's just going to love it. So we're very excited.
That's going to be absolutely a highlight of the entire day, with just a whole full day of activity starting at 8 a.m., ending at about 9 p.m. The last thing that I am aware of is the community theater has Coney Island Christmas at the BK Theater, so you could start your morning at 8 o'clock and you could stay in downtown until 9 o'clock and have nothing but activities to do all day.
Yes, and don't forget that Christmas tree lighting. That is one of my favorite parts, is after the parade, everybody kind of moves over to the Train Depot Museum and that magical moment of turning on that tree.
There'll be some Christmas caroling going on, and Santa's going to throw the switch and light the tree officially, so a lot of fun. But before that, between 1 and 5, we are going to have a very special event, and it's going to be the Tehachapi Hometown Christmas. Lots of entertainment, more live music, lots of activities for the kids that are going to take place all day long. It's just going to be a ton of fun. But you've brought someone here as a guest today to highlight their business, and they're also our featured sponsor of the Tehachapi Hometown Christmas. So we'd like to welcome from Unacem, also known as the Tehachapi Cement, correct? That's the new name?
The Tehachapi Cement Plant.
The Tehachapi Cement Plant. We have Blaze Moran, the plant manager, and Maria Cincis, the community relations manager. Welcome, Blaze and Maria.
Thank you.
Key. Yes. Hello, Claire. So nice to be here today. Thanks for having us.
It's great to have you. And Claire, thank you for bringing them in. You get to invite a business to participate each month, and you reached out and you grabbed Blaze and Maria.
Yes, thank you so much. And this is such a wonderful opportunity to learn more about Tehachapi Cement, to learn about its history, learn about the direction that it's going. And we are so excited. Tehachapi Cement came on as a new presenting partner with the Chamber of Commerce. And so we are very, very grateful for your partnership and your sponsorship and your investment in the Chamber. But we are really excited to just share your story and get it out there in the community.
So let's go back. So let's roll back. So that for those that don't know, we've got a long history here in Tehachapi with our cement manufacturer, and it goes back to the days when it was known as Lehigh. So let's talk about how we've seen transition, and now in the last 30 or 45 days, Unacem is now the new owner of this facility. But let's kind of, if we can kind of historically look back, because we've got a lot of people that have worked here that started at Lehigh, and they've kind of transitions through these new ownerships, and now we're home with the Tehachapi Cement Plant.
Right. So it actually predates Lehigh all the way back to 1906, when the city of Los Angeles built and constructed the plant to make cement for the construction of the Los Angeles Aqueduct. So it's been through a bunch of changes in ownership over the years. For a big chunk of the recent past, it was Lehigh-Hanson. Prior to that, it was owned by some other companies as well.
And so we've seen some transition here in the last couple of years, and now we've got the new home of Unacem, which is another global cement producer.
Yes, Unacem is primarily in South America. So they have U.S. operations in the Arizona region. So they have another cement plant, the Drake Cement Plant, that's in Paulden, Arizona, with corporate offices in Scottsdale. And now recently, with the purchase of the Tehachapi Cement Plant, the U.S. operations is growing and may continue to grow.
That's outstanding. When you mentioned LA Department of Water and Power and the aqueduct, I mean, I think about how many miles and hundreds of miles that the aqueduct stretches and provides, water to the city of Los Angeles. The fact that we created a cement plant for that, it just shows how much cement had to go into the forming of this engineering marvel to move water from one end of the state of California to the other.
Yeah, Key, it's an interesting history, right? Because at that time, at the turn of the century, it wasn't necessarily unusual to see large entities like the city of LA or the state. Some states say, hey, we have a large infrastructure project. We need cement for that infrastructure project. There weren't at the time, corporations owning a lot of cement plants, so they would go out and find a place that they could generate this themselves. And the city of Los Angeles did that here in the Tehachapi area, just for that infrastructure project they had. Once that was over, once the aqueduct was built, the plant idled. And it was idled for a few years before being picked up by Monolith, right? Is where it came from at that point. And Monolith became the owners, and I think there'll be a number of people in the Tehachapi area that certainly know Monolith. They know the town of Monolith. Mm-hmm. If you search Monolith in the directions on your app on your phone, it will still take you to the cement plant area, right? It's still known as Monolith in some of those.
It shows up
apps.
On the maps. Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah.
So I have a quick little paragraph I can read from something that came from the 100th anniversary celebration.
Oh, great.
Years ago at the plant that kind of explains the beginning. It said in 1906, the original plant was built by the city of Los Angeles to augment the needs of cement in the construction of the Los Angeles Aqueduct. The aqueduct would run over 240 miles, Winding down the valleys and hills of the Owens Valley through the deserts of Mojave to the canyons of Santa Clarita, the aqueduct would build the lifeline for a growing metropolitan that needed water desperately. The city would run the plant from 1908 until 1914, when the aqueduct was completed. Over 1.5 million barrels of cement were used in the aqueduct, and of that, over 900,000 barrels came from the Tehachapi plant.
Wow.
So that kind of gives a little of the why in the beginning.
Now, when they say a barrel, what can you give me a kind of a reference on what they would be referring to?
Yeah, in that time in the cement industry, the plants were pretty small compared to today's world of very, very large cement plants. So, barrels were exactly that. When you think of a roughly 60-gallon barrel or drum, that was actually barrels of cement, where certainly now, we talk about tons and, how many tons annually a plant can do. So the technology has come so far since then that they far outpace what plants could do in the 1900s or early 1900s.
It's amazing that it took 6 years of construction, that the plant was open, constantly providing concrete in this area to complete that project. That's amazing. I mean, that's a long time. I mean, that's a big commitment to create a company for something for that purpose, right? I mean, it's like,
right.
That's a lot of construction.
Yeah, and you think about the infrastructure we have now, Highway 58, Highway 14, the way we get around, those things weren't really there, right? In the 1900s. So you think about the logistics of moving that towards the aqueduct as well. It was pretty challenging.
It's amazing. Well, let's look at today. What kind of volume are we seeing from the Tehachapi Cement Plant? Where is that? When we look at numbers and volumes and what you guys produce every year.
Yeah, the plant's rated at about 1 million tons per year, and that volume goes to several areas. In general, our footprint moves into the Central Valley, moves down into the LA Basin, moves into the Las Vegas market, and also moves down, depending upon the time of year, moves down into the Arizona Phoenix market. Certainly now with integrating into the Unacem Drake plant and that activity, there's potential for strategic moves. We could go somewhere else as well to supplement what the Drake plant is doing.
That's amazing how large an area you're able to supply for.
Yeah, it's really just dependent upon pricing of freight. Right? Okay. I mean, we can get into the LA market with rail. We get into the Phoenix market with rail as well. Typically in this area, if it's local, we'll do that by truck.
Okay. Now, what kind of, as far as staff, how many people are employed? This is a large employer for this region.
Right. So our head count runs around 120 employees.
And that's substantial. That's a lot of locals that have taken on this career path and generational. I have heard that this is a generational I don't know how far back, probably the age of my grandparents, and they kind of do we have any kind of lineage where we've looked back and see how many generations of a family has worked
well, we do know there's a few employees out there that currently have parents and grandparents that worked at the facility. Beyond that key, I'm not sure, but I know at least
three generations.
Yeah, at least
plus
third.
Current generation. Right?
That's amazing. And that's something when recently we had Mary Beth Garrison from Rio Tinto on, and she was talking about that with their plant, their mining plant, the generational aspect, and then the long tenure of staff and how important it is to who they are and their identity. It's about the staff and this family that is a part of the business. So I'm sure that made this company very attractive to Unacem.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just a little personal spoiler alert. I was born in 1984, and when I started at the plant almost 5 years ago, there was a handful of people who had been there longer than I had even been alive. We're down to one employee left that started before I was born at the plant. Wow. So
that's pretty cool.
Longevity. I love it.
Yeah. All right. So where do we have any Unacem's only been in place in ownership for a little over a month, so I'm sure things are still new, and you guys are starting to still going through the honeymoon phase with the new ownership, and they're getting to know what they have as an asset here. Is there anything, future projects or things that have been discussed that are out there that we can talk about?
Not with the Unacem group yet, Key. It's pretty
Okay.
early in the process.
Okay.
They officially took control of the facility on November 1st. So pretty new in that honeymoon, as you called it.
Yeah.
But certainly Unacem is in it for the long haul. They've talked specifically about being very aware of the small town atmosphere we have here and making sure that we keep the engagement going on the community side. And they are certainly very interested in making sure that the community knows who they are, that they are engaged and want to help the community and do what they can to be a big part of Tehachapi.
It's great to hear, because the tradition from where I knew it back from Lehigh, through present, you guys have always been you stand up in the community and you step forward and you're there in support in whatever it is. You guys had fantastic community relations here and just been great stewards for the community as strong stakeholders. So
Thank you for that recognition.
nice to hear that, and that's what one of the pride things that they want to take and continue on. And I mean, that's, you guys have taken care of the Tehachapi Hometown Christmas, and it's just nice to have partnerships with strong companies. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, Key. And certainly one of the first things Unacem spoke about was, what are we currently doing in the community? What can we keep doing? Let's make sure that we don't let that slide. Let's make sure that during this transition, we don't forget something, or we keep doing the things that we want to do in the community. So that's a great testament for them as a company to come in and have one of the first things they want to do is make sure that we keep that engagement up.
And I kind of flash back to thinking about Rio Tinto and their involvement in boron and how much that means, because so many of their employees work, directly in the community where they're based. And that's really, I think, the footprint here is, as far as staffing, do most of the people that work at the Tehachapi Cement Plant live here in the zip code?
A very large portion.
Yeah. This is such a great place to call home. And it's nice when you can have a great career job, that something that you can trust, and especially when it's generational like that. When someone that's growing up, they aspire to do what dad or mom did and stay here in the community, they're able to do that and have a nice, successful career, raise their family here. This is just a great place to call home.
I agree. No, I think that's great. And I know we kind of discussed some ideas on how Tehachapi Cement can connect with the community and the community can connect with them. And what are some things that you guys have been thinking, or like how can the community engage with you, and we can keep brainstorming ways of engaging with everyone.
We've been talking about some things for future engagement. I would like to highlight that one of the things we're really proud to continue is our sponsorship of the Tehachapi High School Boosters. That dates back to 1958 when the plant was owned by Monolith. Monolith donated all of the cement, and employees volunteered to help build the high school football field. And that's why it's named Coy Burnett Stadium. That was the president of Monolith for a very long time. So we reestablished a number of years ago that relationship with the Tehachapi High School Booster Club, and just things like that. That's our way of connecting with the community. We're re-engaging and trying to do as much as we can, because due to the nature of what we do at the plant, we can't too often have visitors come into the plant. So we try to do our outreach and just let the community know who we are by sponsoring events and getting into the community those ways.
I didn't know that backstory on Coy Burnett Stadium. That's such that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I can't believe
We need Corey in here.
I can't believe I've lived here over 20 years and I haven't heard that story before.
Yeah, on my timeline here, it shows that in 1923, Coy Burnett bought the Monolith Partners. He bought out the Monolith Partners, and he became the president and owner. And it wasn't until 1970 that he stepped down as president, and then he passed away shortly after that.
What the legacy of what this facility has done in the community. I mean, it's present day where our undefeated Warriors spent the season, but still utilizing this facility.
Go Warriors.
Yeah.
What a great year they had, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome year.
Yeah, they were. So I love learning something new. But when I get these guests that come in and share things that I had no idea, these little secrets. But if you probably grew up here, because I'm a transplant from LA. But if you grew up here, these are probably some of the things that you know or get passed on, and you just kind of take it. Okay, yeah, it's knowledge, but these are cool things.
Yeah.
All right. So, what other? Do we have any other historical items that you've brought to share?
I could just talk about some of the changes in ownership. That's not too exciting, I don't think.
No, but it's good to know because I know there's other names that have gone through the community, so it's nice to know kind of the transitions that have taken place here recently.
Do you want me to run down my list?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, like I had said earlier, in 1906, the plant was constructed, and that was done by the city of Los Angeles. In 1910, the Aqueduct train station and post office were renamed to Monolith. In 1920, the U.S. Potash Company leased the plant from the city of Los Angeles. From 1921 to 1989, Monolith Portland Cement Company was created to buy and operate the plant. In 1923, Coy Burnett, like I just mentioned, bought out the Monolith partners and became the president and owner. From 1941 to 1945, the cement production was used by the U.S. government for World War II war effort. In 1955, Coy Burnett donated land to the city of Tehachapi for community projects and parks. In 1958, which we just talked about, was when the cement was donated to build the football field at the high school. In 1970, Coy Burnett stepped down and then passed away shortly after. From 1960 to 1975, the town of Monolith had started being vacated and dismantled. In the 1970s, the plant was modernized and the production from the plant dramatically increased. In 1989, Calaveras Cement Company bought the plant through their parent company, so for quite a while, the plant was Calaveras. In 1990 to 91, the plant underwent a big changeover and was modernized. In 1995, that's when Lehigh bought the plant through their parent company, Heidelberg Cement, and they became known as Lehigh-Hanson. In 2002, the plant was renamed Lehigh Southwest Cement Company, and then more recently, October of 2021, Martin Marietta purchased the plant from Lehigh-Hanson, and then like we just talked about, November of 2023, November 1st, we became owned by Unacem, which is locally going to be called the Tehachapi Cement Plant, which I think they're just trying to really tie into the Tehachapi town and, be part of the community, and that's why they named it the Tehachapi Cement Plant.
It makes sense. I think it's the perfect name, for the facility. It kind of encompasses the entire history of it being here and the community that it's, involved with so closely.
Yeah. And it sounds like Unacem was very considerate about keeping your culture, your company culture intact too.
Yes.
You need to talk a little bit about that partnership and what you're looking forward to working with Unacem.
Well, again, it's pretty early in the process, so we know a little bit about Unacem. We're certainly learning more all the time with Unacem. We obviously at this point of the process, we see visitors from all over the Unacem business, throughout South America is visiting the plant. I know that without exception, everybody that comes to Tehachapi and stays in Tehachapi and goes to the facility is very impressed with Tehachapi, very impressed with the area, is very excited to be here and be part of this community. Unacem in general, again, is interested in not changing just for the sake of change. I mean, certainly they've bought a cement plant and there's expectations for that, but they, again, are really interested in business continuity, employee continuity, employee retention, and making sure that employees at the facility are locally grown, if I can say it that way, and are local people, and they are interested in making sure that local people, as much as possible, are working and have an opportunity to work at the facility when there's openings there.
Claire, we hear that over and over again with our large corporate entities in Eastern Kern. It's about finding local talent to retain that local talent. Because if you don't have the local talent, you have a constant turnover. Because if you didn't grow up in this area, you don't appreciate everything that's here. And if you bring someone maybe from the East Coast that comes in, this is a different environment for them. And they may not want to try and thrive in the, outside of the business world, but in their personal life. Locally, we know this area. We're able to thrive in it because we grew up here or we've raised our families here. and we want to stay.
Yeah, we have reasons to want to be here, right?
Right.
Exactly. Beyond just an employer, which, to your point, Kate, can come and go. If you come from outside the state or outside, some regional cultural difference, the tendency might not be to stay. That's right.
And that's when you look back, going back 3 generations of employees through families. That's amazing. So that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we have any listeners who are interested in learning how they might be able to get a job at Tehachapi Cement, what are the requirements, or maybe what are some things they could start studying, learning?
For the younger crowd that are probably podcast listeners, most people enter the workforce through a position of laborer, and they can work their way up through their seniority within the union that we have at the plant. And that's a great way to get in and start doing some physical labor and getting your hands dirty, so to speak. The positions we have at the plant that are like salaried staff, we have engineers, we have accountants, we have human resources, we have, safety professionals. There's so many different positions. So if mechanical engineering is somebody's dream, there's definitely a home for you at the cement plant. There's a wide range of opportunities as people come and go, right? The group is currently working on a website for the Tehachapi plant. Maybe Claire can help get that out once that's ready, and then that would be the way to apply to positions at the plant.
I think a key word there was opportunity, and that you provide opportunities, and it's up for the individuals to take that opportunity and run with it, make something of it for themselves, and and look for future growth.
Right.
But it's about having an opportunity, and I think that's what we're looking at. Is this? We've got this entity from Unacem now, and the Tehachapi Cement Plant, that's providing opportunities in our community.
On that note, there's sort of like a dying breed of trade workers that we look for very, very often, that we're constantly trying to source for. So if you're listening and you're wondering where a good place to get your foot in the door is, a millwright type position or instrumentation technicians, that's a very hard to find trade, and it seems like not many people have gone that route, and it's a dying trade. So if you're listening, that's a great thing to go to school for.
You'll be a diamond in the rough.
Right. Literally.
But certainly beyond that, even to Maria's point, when you come in as a laborer, that's typically the starting position for us, and there's opportunity, well beyond that. If you are looking to stay in this area, to work hard, to look for career advancement, the facility is for you, right? I mean, you can do that, and really it's what do you want to do? I mean, if you want to be engaged, if you want to learn the processes, learn the steps it takes to become more valuable to the employer, right? And become more knowledgeable at the facility, there are steps you can take to progress through a career path and have a very nice career right at the cement plant. Very nice.
Awesome.
Now, do we have a website now? Where can we send people? Do we have something that's up? I know you said there's something being built. We don't have anything transitional, so it's coming soon.
Yeah, we're that honeymoon phase you mentioned. Yeah. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle that are still being put together.
Okay.
So when that is ready, we'll be more than happy to try to get it out as much as we can.
Okay, perfect.
And Chamber will shout it out. We just launched at the Chamber a job board as well, and so it's another opportunity. So if you do have openings, let us know, and we can help put those up and get it out there. And so anyone looking for a position, that's another place to look and get started.
That's a great idea. We might leverage that, Claire,
all right.
because we're certainly between that. We no longer have postings with Martin Marietta. Obviously,
right.
We're no longer Martin Marietta, and it's too soon for us to have that specific spot with Unacem. So we'll take advantage of that. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yay.
And so how can people find the job board?
So just go to tehachapi.com. That's the Chamber's website. And up at the top, we have a tab just for job board. And it is brand new. I actually launched it yesterday. But I've been working with our company that helps us manage our members and whatnot, and they put this great system together that's very easy to use. And I enabled all of our members yesterday, and so everyone's up and ready. So if you guys have positions, let's do it, and it'll be up soon.
That's exciting. Thank you.
See? Collaborations, partnerships.
Right.
You know,
Networking.
Tehachapi is, whenever I turn around, and Claire and I work together on a lot of different projects, the collaborative nature that we have in this community, it's just refreshing.
We rise by lifting others, right?
There you go. I love that.
Love that.
Yeah. So is there anything about the new transition or about the company historically we haven't talked about that you'd like to share?
We could sit here for hours and talk, but I don't think the podcast allows for that. But I don't know, Blaze, did we cover most of everything?
I think we did.
Because we can have you guys come back on once we get through the honeymoon phase, and you've got the websites up and the different things. This transition that's going on with Unacem as it's becomes a lot more clear to the local, aspect. We'd love to have you back on to kind of talk about the vision of where things are going, and any future projects and things like that. So will you guys come back?
Absolutely, Keith. We'd love to.
Oh,
Okay, great.
Claire,
fantastic.
we'd love to.
Good.
The future looks very bright, so we'd love to come back and share more as things are established and put in place that we're more involved with.
And I think for me, it's exciting because it is just such a new transition that even at the corporate level that they'd say, yeah, you guys go ahead and go on the podcast and talk about it. That's not a lot of companies don't do that unless they're very comfortable with who they have in place. So I think this speaks volumes back to the corporate office with the trust that they have, within the team here at the Tehachapi Cement Plant.
Agreed.
Well, thank you, Keith.
Yeah. So Claire, let's recap one more time with the digital gift card program because it's timely. We want to push that out. So how can people get a card?
Thank you. So head back over to that Tehachapi.com page, and there is a tab for Shop Tehachapi, and that will give you more information. And then there is a link there that you can go directly to Yifty, which is the company that we're working with that has been able to launch this for us. And they work with hundreds of chambers all across the United States, and they've made it very easy for us to do this. So they have a page that is designed just for Tehachapi, and you can easily purchase a gift card through that page, and it can go to your email address, or you can send it directly to the person that you'd like to send it to. If it goes to your email address, you can print it out, or you can come to the Chamber of Commerce, and we can facilitate all of that. We can run a card and get you however many gift cards you'd like. We can print them out. We'll put them in a pretty little red envelope and make it super simple and easy for you to hand them out this holiday season.
Perfect stocking stuffers. You support local business here in Tehachapi by doing that. Like I said, we've already seen it work. We've actually seen a card that we processed here that was presented to us for payment, and it ran super smooth. So if you're a business, it's not too late to get on board. Get a hold of Claire. And it's a nice little stocking stuffer. And again, we're shopping local, supporting our Tehachapi-based businesses.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, Blaze, Maria, I want to say thank you for taking the time and joining us. We appreciate it and just sharing the history. I'm walking away with a lot more knowledge. So I appreciate all the time you spent with us.
Key and Claire, thank you for having us. This was a great first experience.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. This is wonderful.
And Claire, thank you again for taking the time.
Thank you.
All right, folks, if there's something that we talked about today that's brought a question to your mind, send it to us at media@tehachapicityhall.com. We'll get it to Blaze, Maria, Claire. We'll get that question answered, and we're just happy that you join us each and every single episode, and we'll catch you again soon here on Tehachapod.
Tehachapod is a conversation about Tehachapi, featuring the community members who make this such a special place to call home. If you have a question or a thought you'd like to share, email media@tehachapicityhall.com. Thank you to Gary Mazzola for sharing his song, This is Tehachapi.